Hello families, my name is Kathy Handelman and I am the Children's Ministry Coordinator here at Divine Mercy Parish. I am so happy to welcome you to our special All Saints Day celebration. Why do we as Catholics celebrate All Saints Day? A saint is a good and wondrous person with specific gifts from God, such as the ability to perform a good deed under difficult circumstances. Many saints have miracles attributed to them, which means that people who prayed to these saints were often very sick and became well. Two well-known saints, Mother Teresa and Saint Nicholas, dedicated their lives to serving the poor. Others, such as Saint Jude, the saint we pray to when we are in a difficult situation, put his own life in danger in order to spread Jesus' message. Overall, the deep faith of these saints led them to do extraordinary things. The process of becoming a saint in the Catholic Church is called canonization, and it is a very long and intense process. Every saint has a wonderful story to share. Our 8th graders were asked to select a saint name that will become their confirmation name. Let's sit back and listen to these terrific stories about how the saints have inspired our confirmation candidates. Thank you.
I'm Addison and I picked St. Elizabeth. I picked her because my mom had picked St. Elizabeth for her confirmation saint, and I thought it would be nice if we had the same saint. St. Elizabeth was chosen by God and she lived in the house of Amram. St. Elizabeth is known for giving birth to John the Baptist, and she became a saint on November 5th.
Hello, my name is Alex Prida, and I chose the Saint Joseph for the 8th grade Saints Project. I chose Saint Joseph because he lived a life where he was always trying to be kind to others, and he was always a hard worker. Whenever he had to use either of those things, he always put them to the best use and became the best person he possibly could. What inspires me about his life is the fact that he always wanted to become the best person he could possibly be and make all others around him feel welcome to wherever they are. And I try to follow his footsteps every single day and just try to do what he did. In 90 BC, St. Joseph was born in Bethlehem. Later in his life, he married Mary, and they had their son, Jesus, in a small town in Galilee named Nazareth. St. Joseph is known for always working hard, and being a carpenter, which caused him to work even harder and have to be a super hard worker to make all the money he could to support his family. St. Joseph became a saint in 1870 when Pope Pius IX declared him the patron saint of workers.
Hi, I'm Anna Kate, and my saint is St. Catherine of Siena. I chose St. Catherine because Catherine is a family name. St. Catherine is known to be a political activist and known for her holiness. She lived in Italy in the 1300s, and a fun fact about her is that she was an author for a living.
For my saint, I chose Saint Joan of Arc. She seemed like an amazing, powerful woman, and she seemed like an independent and brave person. That made me want to choose her as my saint. She was born in 1412 and lived in Domremy, northeastern France. She was known for being a national heroine, and she led France to victory in war. This is very inspiring because there were no women fighting back then, but she was able to, and she led the army into victory. I think this is very inspiring for all women. She seems like the type of person who stood up for herself and stood up for women when there was no one else to do so. Saint Joan of Arc seems like a very inspirational saint and deserving of a lot of respect. St. Joan of Arc officially became a saint on May 16, 1920. I think there are many great saints out there, but I think St. Joan of Arc was especially inspiring.
So I chose St. Abigail because she is very independent, and what inspires me about her is she dedicated her life to pastoral service and Christian charitable work, and she cared for the sick. And then my saint, well, she was born in the County Clare, Ireland, and she ran away to the Aran Islands. And then what St. Abigail is known for is her herbal medicine for people, to heal people. And then she became a saint on February 11th.
Hi, my name is Ava Hath. I chose Joan of Arc because I love how brave she was and how much she wanted to fight for her country. I also like how she stuck with God and never gave up on Him. She inspires me every day to keep finishing and to keep fighting my battles. Like if I have a bad day at school and I just think of her and how much I need to fight through the day. Joan of Arc lived in Lorraine, France. Joan of Arc is a hero to France. She was a peasant girl who felt God's guidance, and she had to convince people that she was capable of fighting for France when she was 16 years old. But she brought victory to France. She became a saint in 1920.
I'm Ava Frosco, and I chose Saint Joan of Arc. Saint Joan of Arc was born in 1412 in France. She became a saint because many soldiers were inspired by her story of being told by God to fight for France against England. She was burned at stake for standing up against England later on. I chose Saint Joan of Arc because she stood up for her people, women's rights, and herself. I also love the story of Saint Joan of Arc because I've been to France, so I've seen some of the places where Joan of Arc was present. For example, I've seen Notre Dame Church. She's also a good example to look up to.
Hi, my name is Ben Meyer, and the saint I chose is Saint Francis of Assisi. I chose the saint because he helped people in poverty, was kind to animals and nature, and was a peaceful man and wouldn't harm people. Saint Francis had a good position in life and wouldn't use it to harm others. Instead, he would help others, which is inspiring to me. Saint Francis was born in Assisi, Italy in 1181. He is known for his love of nature. He became a saint on July 16, 1228, just 2 years after his death.
I chose Saint Michael because of his powerful status on the Archangel. Saint Michael is known as the protector of the church, a healer of the sick, and a spiritual warrior in the battle of good versus evil. Saint Michael was born on September 29, 1591, in Catalina, which is a kingdom of Spain. What inspired me to choose Saint Michael is the fact that he is an angel and the leader of all angels. He has 4 main responsibilities. The first one is to combat Satan. The second is to escort the faithful to heaven at their hour of death. The third is to be a champion of all Christians. And the fourth is to call men from life on earth to their heavenly judgment. Today, Saint Michael is known for protection, especially lethal enemies. He's also the patron of soldiers, police, and doctors.
My name's Kaden Lowry, and I chose Saint Maria Goretti because she is the patron saint of youth, purity, and most importantly, forgiveness. She was born in Coronado, Italy, on a farm in 1890. She is one of the youngest saints to be canonized. She was canonized in 1950, 48 years after she was killed at the age of 11. She was a victim of a violent assault and murder. However, she was able to forgive her attacker before passing away on her deathbed. Although Maria had such a short life, I find her to be so inspirational because it takes a strong person to be able to forgive someone that did something so terrible. I think others will find Maria a source of support as well, because if Maria could forgive her murderer, others will find it easier to forgive less extreme actions.
Hi, my name is Caroline White, and I chose St. Catherine Drexel for my Saints project. I chose her because I thought it was interesting how she was born into a very rich family, but instead of getting married, she chose to devote her life to helping Black and Native American kids. St. Catherine was born in Philadelphia in 1858. She had everything a girl could possibly want. She was very well read and educated. Through her education, she learned about Native American Indians and was very upset about how they were being treated. On a visit to Rome with her parents, she met Pope Leo VIII. She mentioned to him how upset she was about the Native Americans and asked him for his help. Response to her is, why don't you help them yourself and be a missionary? She thought long and hard about this idea, ultimately deciding that God did not want her to marry and live a socialist life, but instead wanted her to spend her life and her enormous wealth helping others. And that is exactly what she did. She died at 96 years old and was canonized at a St. Jude's house.
Hi, my name is Kate Martin. I chose St. Bridget for my saint, for the Saint Project because she always chose to help people, especially when they couldn't help themselves. She is an inspiration to me because she was born into slavery, and when she was released, her mother, who was still in slavery, was sick and couldn't work for herself, so Bridget decided to work and fill in her position and do all the work that she was supposed to do. She is also inspiring to me because she chose to have her mother be set free instead of taking all the cows in her mother's master's herd. She lived in Ireland from 451 to 525 and died at the age of 72. She is most known for her kindness towards the poor and her ability to be happy during difficult times. Bye.
My name is Christina Tabone, and I chose St. Elizabeth of Hungary. I chose St. Elizabeth because she was a very selfless person and helped many different people throughout her life, giving back to the world. I want to look up to that, and I admire how she cares so much about other people. What inspires me about St. Elizabeth is that even though she faced tough hardships throughout her life, she was always faithful in God. She also gave up her most valuable possessions and devoted her heart to help the poor and sick. She couldn't allow herself to act without helping others, and this inspires me. St. Elizabeth lived from 1207 to 1231, and she lived in Pozsony, Kingdom of Hungary. She is known for being the patron saint of bakers, countesses, death of children, the falsely accused, the homeless, nursing services, tertiaries, widows, and young brides. She became a saint on May 25, 1235.
Hi, my name is Chloe Giroux, and my saint name is Saint Joan of Arc. I chose this saint because she's a leader and she is strong. She inspires me because she led French troops and has compassion towards the poor. She lived in southeast Paris. Joan was known for leading French troops, and she died in 1431 by being burned.
I am going to choose Saint Peter as my saint because he was always, he was one of the apostles, and he wasn't like, he was a really good person, but like again, he wasn't like the most righteous man either because he like sinned too, but like he was always led back in the path of God, and that's what I want to take out of this. Even if I do some bad things, I want to always be led back in the right direction. And I also want to have like a good basis of like what to base my life around.
Saint Joseph is the figure who was married to Jesus' mother, Mary, and he was Jesus' legal father. Joseph is venerated as Saint Joseph in the Catholic Church. Joseph is said to be born in Bethlehem on the 13th of March. I chose St. Joseph for my Saint Project because I have known about him since the first time that I heard the word Jesus or the word Catholic. I have a more sincere connection with St. Joseph than any other saint out there. I admire mainly how he was the father of Jesus and how he supported him while bringing up his children. He was a very hardworking man and worked as a carpenter. One other thing that I admire about Joseph is his deep respect for God. One of the biggest things that Joseph is remembered for, other than being the father of Jesus, is how he took Jesus to Egypt because King Herod was going to try to kill him. In 1870, Joseph was finally declared a saint in the Universal Churches.
Hi, my name is Delphi. I chose the Saint Catherine of Siena for my saint. What inspires me about her life is that she was always giving back. Like even things that didn't belong to her, she always put others in front of herself and just genuinely just cared about everyone and wanted everyone to be happy. She was born and she lived in Siena, Italy, during the plague. She's known for like her works with the Pope and changing Italian literature as well as the Catholic Church literature, and is also known for being a doctor of the church. She became a saint a couple of years after her death, and yeah.
I chose St. Elizabeth because she helped others in need. To me, this is a big quality to look for in a person because it shows what kind of character they have. Elizabeth was born in the Kingdom of Hungary. She was widowed and used her wealth to help others in need. She opened a hospital and served there herself. She helped her patients, which made her feel better about herself and get past the challenges in her life. She became a real symbol of the Christian charity after she died at the age of 24. I can really relate to St. Elizabeth because I enjoy helping people and I always want to help when I see people suffering. I hope that when I do the same project, I can learn to give back to the community the way that she did. She inspires me to put others before myself.
Hi, my name is Eloise Vollmer, and the saint that I chose for my 8th grade saint project is Kateri Tekakwitha. I chose her because she's a saint of the environment, and I think caring for the environment is very important. She inspires me because she cared for the earth and didn't let others influence her beliefs. She was born south of the Mohawk River, which was later named to Mohawk Village, which is present-day New York. She refused to marry and was shunned by her tribe. She kept going and didn't let others influence the way she felt. She's known for being a devout Catholic and caring for our earth. In the 18th century, a man named Joseph Kellogg was a Protestant child. He caught smallpox and Jesuits helped treat him, but he was not recovering. They had relics from Tekakwitha's grave, but they did not want to use them on a non-Catholic. Once, one Jesuit told Kellogg that if he become a Catholic, they would help him. So he did. They gave him a piece of decayed wood from Kateri's coffin, which is said to make him heal. Her healing miracle made her a saint on October 21st, 2012.
The saint that I chose is Saint Teresa of Calcutta. I chose this saint because my grandma's name is Teresa and she really inspires me. Something that inspires me about Saint Teresa's life is that she dedicated her life to helping the poor. She lived in Macedonia, Ireland, and India from 1910 to 1997. Saint Teresa is known for helping the poor. She became a saint in 2016.
Hi, my name is Grace, and I chose Saint Elizabeth as my saint. She was known for helping so many different groups of people. She helped groups of people from nurses to bakers to brides to widows to countesses to exiles to children, dying children, and to the homeless, and the list goes on. She inspires me so much because she was so helpful, she was so loving, she was so giving, she was thoughtful, she was all of the above, and she was an overall amazing person. She was born in 1207 and died in 1231. She was born in Germany but lived in Hungary. She traveled all over Europe to help these groups of people. She got canonized, which means she was deemed a saint on May 24th, 1235, just 4 years after she died. She's just so important, and I'm so glad that she's my role model.
For my 8th grade saint project, I chose St. Patrick. I chose St. Patrick because he represents Ireland, and I have lots of Irish heritage. I also chose St. Patrick because he represents what I want to be like when I grow up. At age 16, St. Patrick was kidnapped by pirates. 6 years after he was kidnapped by the pirates, he had a dream. In that dream, God was guiding him on how to escape from the pirates. St. Patrick listened to God, and he escaped from the pirates. The fact that the part of St. Patrick's life that inspires me is that he was willing to listen to God to help get him out of a tough situation. I feel like you should always be willing to listen to God when you are in need of assistance. St. Patrick lived around the time period of 375 AD because that was when he was born. He died 76 years later, although these numbers can vary by a couple years. After he died, St. Patrick did not actually go through the canonization process. The people just sort of declared him to be a saint. St. Patrick is most well known for converting most of Ireland to Christianity. St. Patrick was thought to be born in Scotland, but he spent most of his life in Ireland.
Hi, my name is Isabella Ryerson, and for this year's Saint Project, I chose Saint Maria Teresa Goretti. Saint Maria was born on October 16, 1890, and died at the age of 11 on July 6, 1902. She was stabbed to death by her neighbor, and while she was on her deathbed, she forgave him. This is why she became a saint. Maria is the youngest female saint. She is considered the patron of youth, young people, and teenage girls. Maria became a saint on June 24th, 1950. I chose Saint Maria because I was impressed she forgave her neighbor. Also, because she represents young people like myself. I will try to follow in her footsteps and become a better person and try to be a better person of forgiving people.
My name is Jimmy White and I chose Carlos Acutis for my Saints Project. While not quite a saint yet, Carlos is well on his way to becoming one. Just last week, Pope Francis beatified him, which is the first step one takes before becoming a saint. I chose Carlos because he reminds me a bit of myself. He was someone that I could relate to because he was about my age and had a love for the internet. Carlos was a 15-year-old computer whiz who died from leukemia in 2006. He's already being called the patron saint of the internet because he used it to create the values and beauty and in service of the gospel to reach as many people as possible. He believed that the internet is a place to use with responsibility without being enslaved. While only 15, Carlos will not be the youngest saint ever. That goes to two Portuguese children who died in the 1918 pandemic, and were said to have seen the Virgin Mary while caring for sheep.
My name is Johnny, and my saint name is Saint Joseph. One thing about Saint Joseph was he was a hard worker and cared a lot about his family. Something that inspired me about his life was that when an angel told him that he was in trouble, he fled his house and took his family to keep him safe. Joseph lived in Bethlehem, and he was born in 90 BC. He is known for his hard working, and he's also known for taking Mary and Jesus to Egypt to keep them safe. And he is known for being Jesus' father. And he became a saint when he came back after he took Joseph and Mary, and that's when he became a saint.
My saint is Saint Bernard. I chose this saint because he is the patron saint of skiing and snowboarding. Even though I only recently learned how to snowboard, skiing has been a huge part of my entire life. I first learned how to ski when I was just 3 years old. I also love dogs, and St. Bernard is one of my favorite breeds. In addition to loving dogs, I also love music, and one of my favorite songs is called St. Bernard. St. Bernard lived in the early 12th century near France. In France, near the Alps. He was a monk and often climbed in the mountains. The St. Bernard is a dog that used in mountains and was used on skiing hills. This dog is named after the saint. St. Bernard became a saint on January 18th, 1174.
Hi, my name's Lily, and for my saint, I chose to do St. Anne. I chose to do St. Anne because I was named after her, but I never knew much about her. St. Anne is the Virgin Mary's mother, so the grandmother of Jesus. She was born in Bethlehem in about 50 BC in the royal house of David, the line which was prophesied to give birth to Christ. She married Joachim and they lived in Nazareth. They were unable to have a baby even though they tried and really wanted one. One day, an angel came to them and told them that they would have a child. St. Anne was happy and overjoyed, so she promised she would dedicate her baby's life to the service of God. Mary was born free of original sin, which means she was produced by Immaculate Conception just like Jesus. Because Anne and Joachim promised Mary's life to the service of God, when Mary was 3 years old, they brought her to the temple where she would serve and be raised in order to become the mother of Jesus. They did not see her again. St. Anne died around 12 AD at about the age of 62. I find St. Anne very inspirational because I can't believe she was able to leave her daughter at the age of 3 because she had promised this to the Lord and knew her child was very special. St. Anne is considered a saint because of her role as a mother of Mary, grandmother of Jesus Christ, and as a dedicated servant to God. She was canonized in 1584.
I chose St. Catherine of Alexandria, and I chose this saint because I found out that she might have been a princess in her time, and I thought that was really interesting. And one of her traits was that she was very intelligent, and because she was so intelligent, nobody could defeat her rhetorically, and she wouldn't let anyone decide her beliefs besides her, and the only way to stop her was to execute her, which the emperor did. She inspires me because she was very intelligent and gifted at my age, and so many people looked up to her. She was born in 287 to 305 AD, and she was born and she died in Alexandria, Egypt, and she was known for her wealth, intelligence, and beauty, and she became a saint in the 4th century, which was November 5th, which was also known as Feast Day.
My name is Monica, and I've chosen St. Elizabeth Ann as my saint. She was very intelligent, passionate, and kind-hearted. She was the first native-born saint of the United States. Elizabeth Ann Bailey was born in New York City on August 28, 1774. She lived in New York and Italy. She's known for the creation of the first Catholic schools. She became a saint in 1975.
Hello, my name is Nelson Goodrich. I chose St. Michael because he's the first saint I ever really learned about. And I chose him, because he's the first saint I had read stories about and learned about. What inspires me is he's always been an angel, which is kind of cool, and he's a warrior, so that's interesting and that inspires me. St. Michael was never actually a human, so he actually never lived there anywhere. He's always lived in heaven. He was always a saint, so that's also pretty cool. And I don't know he's always been a saint, so yeah.
Hello, my name is Olivia. My patron saint of choosing is St. Catherine of Bologna. The reason why I chose her is because she's, I feel like she resembles me in a lot of ways. She's an artist. Her best known work was a piece of writing, and I myself am a writer, so she kind of inspires me that way. What impressed me most about her life was how she managed to use the arts, and how she managed to write and stuff and inspire other people about Jesus and God. St. Catherine was born and raised, and her whole life was in Bologna, Italy. She was born in 1413. Her best known literature work was about her visions. She had visions about God and Satan. She made portraits of multiple saints, and she also made a portrait of little baby Jesus. My saint became a saint on May 22nd of 1712. So that's my saint.
My name is Ryan Cravens, and for confirmation, I have chosen my patron saint to be Saint Albert. Also known as Albert Magnus or Albert the Great, Saint Albert is the patron saint of the natural sciences and of philosophy. I chose this saint because I am very interested in physics, which is one of the natural sciences, and I'm also very interested in philosophy. Saint Albert was born in Langwin an der Danois, in what is now Germany, circa the year 12,000.
Sometime before the year 1245, he went to the Dominican convent of Saint Jacques at the University of Paris, where he studied the works of Aristotle. There in France, he started a presentation on the entire body of knowledge of his time. This included comments on the Bible, physics, Neoplatonic thought, and many more interesting subjects of his time. While he was working on this, he had many disciples, one of which was probably St. Thomas Aquinas, who was a very influential philosopher and a Catholic priest. He eventually became a bishop and was pronounced a saint in 1941. He died on November 15th, year 1280, which was also his feast day. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it.
And my name is Sarah, and I chose Saint Faith. I chose Saint Faith because my middle name is Faith. Faith is important to me, not only because it's part of my name, but it shows I have faith in God and I will live a faithful life. I was also named after my grandmother, who had immense faith. Her name was Jacqueline Faith. She lost her son and battled 30 years of cancer with God and faith by her side. Saint Faith inspires me because she stood up for her beliefs and gave everything for her faith in God. Saint Faith lived in Agen in the country of Gaul, which is now France. She lived there in the 3rd century. She is known for standing up for her faith in God. She became a saint when the Roman persecutors came to her village to ask for their loyalty for the pagan gods. She professed her loyalty to the Christian God. She is known to have made the sign of the cross while saying, "I consecrated myself and I prepared to suffer everything for Christ." She sacrificed herself for her beliefs.
Saint Catherine of Siena was an Italian activist, writer, and doctor of the Church. She helped many people during the Plague of Siena and was entrusted by the Pope. She was also the first woman to be declared as Doctor of the Church. In 1999, she was declared Patron Saint of Italy. I chose her as my saint because I was inspired by how she helped people during a pandemic, just like what we're going through now.
Hi, my name is Lila Hernandez, and I chose Mother Teresa. She was born on August 26, 1910, and died on September 5, 1997. She was born in Skopje, and after 18 years she moved to Ireland and then to India, where she lived for most of her life. Mother Teresa dedicated her life to helping others. She set up many orphanages and care centers for those in need. What inspires me most about her life is how selfless she was and how many people she was able to help. She also inspires me because although she had a crisis of faith because of all the misery she saw, she still continued her good work.
Hi, I'm Sully Pierre. The saint I chose is Saint Cecilia. I chose this saint because she is the saint of music and I like music. I chose this saint because she was very noble and I want to be noble too. A saint was born in the 3rd century in Rome. Her feast day is November 22nd. And she is known for vowing her virginity to God. And then she was married against her will. And then an angel came down and told the person she was marrying that she vowed her virginity to God. And he respected that. And she became a saint on November 22nd.
I chose St. Bernard because he makes me feel comfortable when I'm skiing or going hiking in mountains. And he is the saint of sports or activities that involve big mountains like hiking or skiing or snowboarding, etc. He lived in Colorado from 1090 to 1153 and became a saint in 1174. Bernard is known for building schools and hotels on top of big mountains like the Alps to make people get educated who are up there or to make people have homes when they're up there. He inspires me because he makes me want to do good things not only when I'm home, but also when I'm having fun or on vacation. And that is why I chose St. Bernard.
Hi, my name is Rabbi Cody, and I chose my saint as Robert Bellarmine. Robert Bellarmine was born in Italy on October 4th, 1542, and is best known for helping build up the Catholic Church once again.
My name is Patrick Boyle, and I picked St. Patrick.
Let me tell you some stuff about him. St. Patrick was not born in Ireland, but born in Great Britain in around 385 AD. His name wasn't even St. Patrick. It was Maewyn Succat. He was pretty far from being a saint growing up. He was a pagan. He was taken into slavery at 16 by a bunch of Irish pirates who attacked his village. He worked hard as a slave in Ireland for 6 years, and it was then he became a Christian. He heard the voice of God in his sleep one night that told him to leave and get on a ship and go back to Britain. He decided to study in the monastery and decided his purpose was to convert the pagans to Christianity. He then adapted his current name, Patrick, and returned to Ireland and became a bishop. He traveled all over Ireland despite being arrested by the Celts. He established schools, monasteries, and churches, and taught many about Christianity. There are a lot of legends about St. Patrick, like he raised people from the dead or drove the snakes out of Ireland. St. Patrick is thought to die on March 17th, 461 AD. This is his feast day. St. Patrick's Day used to be a Catholic holiday, but now it's celebrated by many. He wasn't canonized as a saint until the 12th century. He was devoted 30 years of his life to teaching and helping the people of Ireland. He baptized over 120,000 people in about 300 churches. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Patrick Kraft, and for my saint, I chose St. George. St. George's birth is unknown, but we do know that he died at the year 303 AC. St. George is also the patron saint of soldiers, archers, cavalry, and chivalry, farmers, field workers, riders, and saddlers, and he helps those suffering from leprosy, plagues, and syphilis. St. George is also the patron saint of England. St. George was admired for his bravery in the face of terrible suffering, and he was among the popular European knights and military men. He is a saint in both Christianity along with Islam. What inspires me about him is that he was a very elite military member in the Roman military, but at the time Christianity was illegal in Rome, but instead of giving up his faith, he chose to die.
Thank you all for watching. Thank you especially to our 8th graders. You did an absolutely great job. We hope you enjoyed learning about our Catholic saints. Now please click on one more link on the email that you received today and listen to a beautiful prayer often sung this day, which is called the Litany of the Saints. This litany, performed by Sister Michelle Sherliza, is very special. Blessings to all of you on this day.